guys, what's going on? Hazy here. Welcome back to another video today on the channel. So over the weekend, we had another online regionals here in Oceania, and we were lucky enough to get one of the deck profiles that come ninth place, a very, very unlucky ninth place. We've got Kye, who piloted Ss4 Goku Xeno. How you going, Kye?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How's it going?
Not too bad, not too bad. So run us through the leader, run us through why you chose it, and then we'll get into the deck.
So this leader is just one of my favorite black leaders to play. Obviously, Humber or Supreme Kai are very popular for black decks, and they're easy competitors for being the top of the black. But unfortunately, with Ss4 being active, you can't run Cumber, so I chose this, and it's just a good, fun leader that pretty much does a bit of everything. So, um, leader is just your pretty much hybrid. When it attacks, you burst 3, take a life, draw a card. When it lasts at 4, draw a card and untap an energy. And the Awaken side is actually where it gets super hot. So it's a 15k inherent double striking leader, and against 5k for every 8 black battle cards in my warp during my turn. And then it's got activate main, play returning 4 from warp to drop, so I can draw a card.
And that's also very key for the wormhole over realms.
Yes, as well as with all the heavy floodgates, it's nice to be able to still draw cards, even though I can't attack.
Yes, very indeed, very true indeed.
So, but yeah, so I've been playing this deck for a while, and I played it last year at Nats, had a lot of fun with it. So I thought, oh, why not? We'll try it again. So we'll start off the list. Let's kick it. All right. So I was only running 2 copies of Support of the Dark Empire.
Yeah. I find that token negates aren't really. I'm not using very many token negates really at the moment. So yeah, they're not really getting around. I don't think.
Right. I've seen it falling out a lot of favor with a lot of players. I like them more so not for protecting my leader, but more protecting my unison.
Yeah.
Because half the time it's like people might try to bully it so that I can be a little less aggressive. It usually doesn't help, but it's like it slows down the pedal a little. I thought 2 was a fine number because it's nice to have it and not need it, than need it and not have it.
Yes, very true.
And then 4 Revived Ravager Revived Ravager Vegetas. This was my optimal turn 1 if I was going second, just because being able to crit someone turn 1, as well as mill an additional 3 cards, it's just value.
Yes, indeed.
And it's like, if they want to out combo it, that's fine. Like, that works fine for me because it's at least 2 cards out of their hand because they're not going to combo a super combo turn 1.
No, that's right.
Yeah. After that, I was running 2 super conveyors. I thought about running 3, but space was an issue, and I was trying to keep it as close to 50 cards as possible. So
these are very good as well because you can also take a life for it as well, can't you?
yeah, so it's got a sparking where if your life is at 4 or less, you can actually take a life instead of tapping 1 for its cost, and it just sends something to the warp that's 3 or less that's being played. So very good against Topo and like the Android 17 floodgates. I was a big fan of using this against Android 21 as well to hit their Z Battle card, the 2-drop if they played it, if they were trying to play it late game. Yeah, just stuff like that. So, but Topo was the main thing, and Mecha Freezer. Mecha Freezer was like the biggest pain in my side for the day.
Yep.
After that, yeah. So we got 1 Gohan. Yeah, I like 1. You only have to see 1, so it's like with the amount of milling and warping I do, it's like I'll usually have access. And it's cool for the interaction with counters, how you can still negate an attack, even though they've countered you. And also as well, if you don't want them to give them the option to counter, you just negate the attack with that. So
yes.
Also, the effect that a lot of people forget about that I've made a lot of use for, I actually do like to combo the card and put it into my Z energy to tap 1. So that actually lets me warp a battle card that's 4 or less, and a lot of people keep forgetting that you can do that. So I was hitting like the SSB Rush Vegetas and like just all these generic little 4 or less battle cards. A dual attacking. I think I hit a dual attacking Piccolo because they played a Pan as well. It's like, yeah, I'll just combo out and then I'll just warp it. It's like,
Yeah, very, very handy.
yeah. It's like I used to never want to use that effect, but I don't know, lately it's just been coming up more, so I could even see myself putting that to 1 just because of the combo. Alright, now after the Gohan, we've got best super combo for black at the moment, Vegeta. Um, Not a lot to say about that. It's a bottom deck 1, draw 2, and yeah, it's a black 5k Vegeta. So it's
Pretty
like,
stock standard.
yeah, stock standard. Any black deck, this is super combo to run. I might consider Cumber as the super combo at some point, but for now, I just can't pass up draw 2. So I'm a bit greedy. Plus, you can put time agents back when we get to them. So after that, speaking of which, we've got time agent Vegeta. So this is a cheeky little card that you can play for free if you mill it, because it's got a auto if your leader's a Black Saiyan. If it's milled, you if it's sent from your deck to your drop, you play it. So the this card's pretty good. Unfortunately, it's got unique and a permanent where if it's removed from the field, it's sent to the warp, which doesn't matter too much because that actually helps the leaders permanent for gaining the 5k.
Yep.
And an effect that kept popping up yesterday for some reason, the activate battle for 2 energy, you can actually warp a battle card that's 3 or less. And I don't get why people kept forgetting that it could do that. I guess because you're almost never tapping 2 for it, but whenever I'd get floodgated, I liked leaving the energy open so I could warp something off of him.
Yeah, very handy.
All right. After that, we've got our Unison. All right. Now, this Unison has a lot of synchronicity with this deck for some strange reason. I don't get why they made it really good for this. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter too much if you mill it because you've actually got a Z battle card that searches it from your deck, but you only want to see 1 Unison anyway. So you're almost always going to see your Unison turn 2, which is ideally the turn to see it.
Yep.
So, Unison, it's been around for a while. It's got the auto, if you overwhelm, you burst 1, and then you actually gain Wormhole for the turn. So, Wormhole lets me overwhelm twice in a turn, which is how this deck is so aggressive.
Yep.
Yeah. It also has a +1 where you return up to 2 black battle cards from your warp back to your drop, and a -3, which actually did come up a couple times. You add up to 2 battle cards from your warp or your drop to your hand that have the overwhelm skill.
It's
So
very, very handy if you're trying to close out game and get yourself another 10k combo power or even another battle card to overwhelm.
yeah, so my favorite things to add back off of that was SS4 Goku Beyond All Limits and SS3 Gogeta.
Yeah,
Because
always a good way to recycle the thwarting.
Because I'm basically getting 3 for 1 because even though Gogeta is a overwhelm, I can still play it through Union Fusion. So I'm like, I can add that back off of that, play the Goku, and then Goku can just add back another Goku or whatever else. So it's like your neg 3 kind of can generate you 3 to 4 cards.
Yes, indeed. That's such a positive.
Yeah. After this, we got Supreme Kai negate. This negate's just always going to be good. There's the fact that it hits a lot of secret rares as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a nice little interference. Like if this was a card that I used a couple times against Golden Frieza. If they'd attack me, I'd just warp their Mecha Freezers or Repose or whatever. Just get rid of all their little Freezer critters.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
right.
yeah, it's just a nice little way to throw off a turn. And it's very cheap. You play it for 1 if you've got 3 or more battle cards in either player's warp.
Yeah, so it's always live in this deck.
Yeah, it's always live. It's like outside of being turn 1 where you can't attack, the card's live.
Yeah.
So After that, best card on the deck, Ss4 Goku Beyond All Limits.
Such a good card.
This I don't want to say this card's a bit of a problem, but like this card's really good. Like honestly, I think this card should be a 1.
Yeah, just its ability to recycle everything.
The fact that it can recycle itself as well, it's like if you're playing a deck that isn't black but bursts a lot of cards, you can just run a couple copies of this, and every turn you just over on one, add the other one back, and you're
Yeah,
just getting a free 30k beater.
yeah,
It's like,
30k beater that adds in a black deck. It adds a piece back to your hand. So
hmm,
you either get the card back or you get a piece that like you might not have had. You might have milled it, something like that. And
yeah,
especially with like thwarting being a one of now, being able to again just keep grabbing back thwarting if you need to is such an advantage.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. After that, SCR of the deck combo. Oh boy, this guy was so underrated when it was released, but now people are starting to give this guy respect, and it is one of the most busted secret rares we have in the game at the moment.
Yeah, the crazy shenanigans it pulls, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's like why it lets like, and a lot of people don't realize how it works, and they still don't realize. Like what it does is for 2 energy, you can if your opponent has 3 or more energy, so you play it very early. You warp one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and then you play it from your hand or your warp. So it's live wherever you've got it.
Yeah,
It's not an auto when it's played. You look at your opponent's life if they have 2 or more life. Ideally, I always played it when I got them to 2, because then it switches off any token negates.
yeah.
You choose a card in their life that's 7 or less, send it to the warp, and then you choose a card. You choose a battle card in their warp that's 7 or less, and play it to your side of the field with skills negated.
So you gain in a lot of cases if people are running overwhelms in their deck, you can tend to just grab a 30k overwhelm.
There was a few times where I actually managed to take like Dark Brawly overwhelms because they had overwhelmed it the turn before.
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, thank you. I'll take a 30k beat stick, no worries.
Yeah,
And then
and sorry, carry on.
yeah, and then it's got the other auto as well, which people still aren't aware on how it really works. Once per turn, when your opponent plays a battle card, if it's 7 or less, you warp a battle card and you take control of it. Now, if this is during your turn, you as the master of the card, you get any pending orders. So if you say Mecha Freezer repulse me or Topo, because I'm the master, I am not underneath that floodgate, which
Yep.
means if you've just tapped 2 for a Topo, you've done that for nothing because
Yep.
I'm not floodgated.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like tap
so
2, drop
good.
2 cards, and I get a 20k beater. It's
And
like,
like I've seen one person in the last event that was playing this and he didn't actually attack with it. He just left it up. Just
yeah,
because they have to try and remove it then. If they can't swing into it, they've got to try and physically remove it.
yeah,
And just being able to every time that one time per turn you play a card, he can just take it.
yeah. And there was one of my matches against the Android 21 Super Combo Loot deck. I explained to him how it worked, and he thought he could get around it by just playing a 1 drop during his own turn. Um, so I super commanded the 1 drop, even though it was no threat, because I didn't want him to force my combo kill. I'm like, I'll gladly take a life, so you're forced to waste more energy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's like you can try to force it, but like there are ways to get around it. So, but yeah, I might consider the new Meki Kabura SCR that got announced last night, but honestly, I think Cover's just all around better, and you only
Yeah.
play Meki if you don't already have this. So.
Yeah. And you definitely don't want to be getting to turn 5 with this deck, so cool is no point.
Yes, I would only consider cooler if Shaq becomes one of the best meta decks, but I pray that leader gets banned, so it's like it does nothing at events, but I still think it shouldn't exist. Like, it should get the same treatment as the old Gohan deck. It should just be banned in best of one format.
Yeah.
So, anyway, after that, we got one of the other boss monsters, Ss4 Gogeta, forwarding. Um, yeah, he's been around forever. Got put to one, still strong. Playing for one through either Overwhelm or Union Fusion. When he swings, you warp a battle card, and he's a 25k double striker. So he was mainly for like forcing people to use token negates.
Yep. And even though he's at one, you can still use multiple of him.
Yeah, the fact that you can just like use 3 of him in a game, like just being able to completely just keep adding him back off of Ss4 Goku is ridiculous.
Yep.
So after that, we've got 3 of the Supreme Kye pseudo combo. When she's milled, play her for free. And if you've got 5 or less hit cards in your hand when she's comboed, she gains an extra 5k. So it's just a 0 for 10k combo.
So handy.
Yeah, it's like I thought about running 4, but 3 is enough. I didn't want them clunking my hand because I'd end up charging them more often than not. So
Yeah.
I'd rather just keep all my other cards, and yeah, they were just kind of like filler. So after that, 3 Marseille Belligerent. It's kind of pretty good. Clears a lot of boards. When he's played, warp up to 2 battle cards from your opponent's field. They come back at the end of your opponent's turn with skills negated, and he gains crit. He has deflect, and his energy cost is reduced by 6 if you send a card from your drop to your warp in that turn.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very, very nice little piece because it just can remove so many. Again, like the Supreme Kai time that warps something away, you can warp away the SCRs, you can warp away the Z battle cards, token negate, stuff like that. So it's really, really handy.
Yeah, this card's ridiculous. Like, being able to recycle off of Goku as well, it's like is the only reason. Only because you can add him back is the only reason I'm not running 4. I would run 4 if I couldn't recycle this card. This card's ridiculous. And it's like there's actually a few times where I'd play Belligerent, warp a threat, play Cumber, and actually play the card that I just warped off of Belligerent.
Yep.
Just so it's like they're not getting it back. It's like, yeah, it's mine now.
The ultimate flex.
Yeah, it's like I did get to steal someone's super combo with the combo, which was nice.
Yeah, you
They
did see
were
that
playing
very
a black deck, so I got a free Vegeta super combo.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. All right. All right. After that, best card that's been released for black in a long time. 4 of the Ss4 Vegeta. This card's ridiculous.
Yes, and it synergizes with the 6-drop Goku, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it's a 30k Vegeta Xeno. It's got Overarm 6. When this card is played, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, send it to the warp. Then it's got another activate main for 1 energy, which is limit 1. If you've got a Son Goku Xeno in play that has 30k power, which is beyond all limits for some strange reason that should not, yeah, but I guess. You play it for 1 and it gains crit for the turn.
1k crit that warps a card.
Yeah, with 30k, it's like, yeah, this card's, yeah, bonkers. It's like, I would consider running Dark Broly as well, but this card also has 5k combo power, so
Yeah, that's where
Dark Broly no longer in any deck.
yeah, that's pretty much become everyone's overwhelm of choice if I'm not correct.
Yeah, yeah, it's like just yeah, any deck that can only really get away with 1 overwhelm will just play that because it's also got the combo power.
Yes.
But if you don't care about the combo power, you can play the Dark Broly as the budget version. But I don't know. Yeah, there's no benefit to this over Dark Broly outside of running the Dark Broly deck. So, all right. After that best card, I was running a single copy of Petrification.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know why only 1. Like, honestly, probably could have gotten away with mainboarding 2, but I didn't want to have too many extra cards in my main deck because I didn't want my gas to run out early.
Yeah, that's fair.
I want to be able to just turn everything sideways, and then if I've got a negate in my hand, that's great. If not, like, it's not the end of the world. That's what side decks are for. So, all right. And a tech that some people actually don't run in this deck. I was actually running the Gogeta Fearless Fusion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is just another Gogeta that I can play for 1 energy by returning Goku and Vegeta, similar to thwarting. But when this card is played, I can actually warp a battle card that's 4 or less, ignoring barrier.
Yeah, barrier removal is always really handy. And it's a blocker as well?
Yes, it's also a 16k blocker. So there was a couple of times where I would actually just play him just so I had that blocker, because I get greedy sometimes and I'll put myself to 2 life because I'm like, yeah, no, screw it, let's do it and see how it goes. So, yeah, this actually put in a lot of work. He got to hit a few Z battle cards, which was nice. I think I hit a pan. But yeah, nothing too extravagant. I was hoping to verse more than one Cumber deck because I wanted to warp a lot of their Z battle cards.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice little target for Fu.
Yeah. After that, I was running 4 Bardock Overrealm.
Okay.
So this guy stopped seeing some play, but I think he's going to pick up again with our heavy floodgate format it is. It's just an overall 4. When it's played, you draw 2, discard 1. It's just good for kind of
Filtering out your pieces.
just filtering and cycling, like, because you don't really care about discarding, because that just fuels your warp anyway. It's like there was a few times where I actually got double riposte in 1 turn, so I just overwhelmed 2 different Bardocks. So I just got to draw 4, discard 2. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'll wait for the next turn. I'll wait for my Cumber or wait for my counter plays. Just yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this card's really good, and it's got 20k power, which is actually kind of beefy.
Yeah.
After that, a single copy of Ultimate minus Energy Powerball. Um, this card kind of lost me my last round, but not in the way it should have. I got super greedy and tapped an energy on offense so that I could give my leader an extra 15k. Like, it was just bad play, so I got punished for it. But I did get to warp a Fu Z battle card when I did verse Cumber.
Yeah, so it's probably becoming a bit more relevant again now in black decks. Now that there is a lot of the, obviously, like you said, the Fu, a lot of the low cost barrier cards, and it just gets around it, just
Yeah,
warps them.
it's also good against, say, Android 21 when they play their 2-drop Z battle card. If they're trying to use that for Awakening, like if they play it wrong and they play the Z battle card and then attack with their leader, you just warp the Z battle card so they don't get to play the 4-drop at the start of your turn.
Yeah,
So it's like that's a pretty big thing that has come up a couple times. So then last card in the main deck, 4 of the Time Agent Trunk. I've seen a list floating around that doesn't play this card. I don't see why you wouldn't, because when it's milled, you play it for free. It's a 4k blocker, but when it's played, you can take up to 1 life. So it's great against those decks that don't want to help you awaken. So you can just do it yourself, attack with leader, mill trunks, take 2 life. Like, it helps you awaken turn 2, turn 3. But if you don't want to take the life and you mill it, it's just 5k combo, or it's a free blocker. Like, yeah. So
very very handy.
yeah. So I don't see why you wouldn't run that, but it's just a personal preference on the deck. So
Yeah, well,
yeah.
very nice main deck that. If you wanted to show us what was hiding in the sideboard.
Sure. All right. So in the side deck, I had a single copy of Petrification and a single copy of Ultimate minus Energy Powerball.
Yep.
That was obviously for those specific matchups. So like Petrification, I'd side that in against blue just because of Beast Harm, or black or Golden Freezer for the Golden Cooler SCR. And
Yep.
then I'd side this in against Cumber, or even red decks for SSB Vegeta, um, for the rush attack.
Yep.
And then after that, 3 Koitskais, also in for yellow, just because they play a lot during my turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 Rebellion Hammer. So this is a card that not a lot of people know what it does, but I think it's only good in this specific deck. It could also be good in Dark Broly, but that's to be decided. This is what I sideboard against Android 21.
Okay.
So this is a counterplay. If your leader card is black, and you place 3 black cards from your drop into your warp, if the battle card being played has an energy cost of 4 or less, it is sent to the warp instead of being played.
Yeah.
Um,
So
it's a
very
2
very
cost
good.
counterplay, but it has a permanent. If you have 12 or more cards in your warp, reduce the energy cost by 1.
Yeah. Okay. So it becomes a 1 cost and it hits that 4 cost Android 21
Yeah,
counter attack.
yeah, and it's like that card is an issue. Um, I didn't have an issue with it when I versed that deck because thankfully for me, the guy didn't actually see his Android 21 counterattacks.
Yep.
But I did have the Rebellion Hammers in there for like the Z Battle cards and stuff like that. I think I actually tapped 2 for his 2 cost Z Battle card just so I could make sure it wasn't sticking to the board. So
Yeah. Very
um,
very 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 handy little tech for obviously against Android 21.
yeah,
Was there any other matchups that you really used it for? Or just
uh,
Android 21?
really, it was mainly in there for Android 21 because any other deck that I versed, there's a different counterplay that can hit it, like Super Kameas and stuff like that. So it's like I wasn't worried about red because red's not a bad matchup for this deck. Um, because black is a lot more aggressive than red is, and yeah, it's just yellow has too many negates, so I just side in Koitsukais and Super Kameas, and that shouldn't be an issue. So yeah, no, it was just for Android 21. So, but yeah, this is like my favorite counterplay. I love this card. All right. After that, I sideboarded 3 Hunter the Demon God.
Yeah. I
Um,
had this in one of my sideboards once. Very
yeah,
handy.
a lot of people don't know what it does, and it makes me happy that they don't because it means that it can kind of catch people out easily. But it's a very, very good. So I would sideboard this card in for green.
Yes.
So it's a counter. If your leader card and all your energy are the same color, and your opponent has 4 or more energy, you negate the counter attack skill of an extra card with an original energy cost of 1 that was activated without paying its energy cost. So dormant potential is like the biggest thing that comes to mind.
Yep.
Yeah, because like they're almost always, oh yeah, I'll tap out, play my unison, have dormant live, no worries. But it's like, oh yeah, just drop demon and then it just stops the dormant. I also would consider siding this against Blue Baby, just because of cards like Dimension Magic,
Yep.
or even any blue deck that's going for
Yeah.
long game, like even like SS4 Ramp or Beerus. Like I'd consider siding this in for them,
Yep.
just
Just for
because
that
of the
dimension magic.
yeah, because they still got to take a life and your attack is going through. So yeah, but yeah, that card's pretty stellar, and it's got to activate main as well. Spirit Boost 1. Remove this card and you drop from the game. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards that energy cost greater than their current energy, and until the end of your opponent's next turn, its skills are negated and it can't attack.
Yeah.
So
So that's very handy for locking down a boss monster or something.
yeah, it's like it's really good if, like, say you're versing another black deck and you want to switch off, say, their Cumber SCR. It's
Yep.
like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna warp this. Oh yeah, can't activate its effects. So, yeah. So I've never used that effect, but it's nice having it there.
That
So,
was my next question.
had I used it, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, it's never come. I didn't verse any green decks, so I had no reason to put it in. So, all right. After that, 1 copy of Mirror Creator Absorbed. Anyone that sees this card should know what it's in for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Gogeta.
Yeah, for Gogeta. I'm like, I can easily force Gogeta to awaken, but getting over that 100k mark can be difficult sometimes. So having a cut, so if I can force them to awaken, so I can play Cumber at when they're at 2 life, because obviously they got to be at, it's either 3 or 4 life to Z awaken. I think it's 4.
4.
But yeah, it's like I can play Cumber, put them to like 1 or 2 life, attack with Mirror, bloody yeah. It's like it'll get over the 100k pretty easily.
Yeah.
So,
So for those that don't know what Mirror does, it gets, is it 5k for every card in your warp?
yeah, so when it declares an attack, it gains 5k for every card in your warp. So in a deck that's bursting every turn and sending a lot of cards to the warp, usually this card's getting. I think I got it up to like 140, 150k at one
Yeah.
point.
It can get pretty monstrous.
Yeah, so it's pretty beefy. Also, you can add it back off of Beyond All Limits Goku.
Yes.
Yeah, which is like a very big thing. So, after that, yeah, I was sideboarding 2 of the Xeno. Uh, I I don't know why I put this in. Like, I'm not scared of the God decks with Indestructible, but I don't know. I was losing ideas on what to put in my side deck, so I'm like, Asker, I'm gonna put this in because this card's really cool.
Yeah.
It's got an auto when it's played. Choose up to 12 of your opponent's battle cards with God or Universe in their special traits, ignoring barrier, negate their indestructible, and remove them from the game. So I'm like, oh, if I verse any God decks, if I verse any of those U7 decks, like, oh yeah, I can just chuck this in as a cheeky card because like, why not?
Yeah.
And it's got another activate main limit 1. If your opponent has 3 or more energy, play this card from your hand. So 1 energy, play Xeno, and warp their board. So
Yeah.
it's got another effect if you play the God deck, but that's not relevant. So because it requires your leader to be a red great priest. Also, what I do also like that you can also add this card back off of Ss4 Goku Beyond All Limits.
Yep.
That card has too many targets, so I don't think it should be at 4.
Yep.
So,
Definitely.
and last card on the side was 1 SS3 Bardock, breaking free from the mask.
I rate this card.
Yeah, this card is sweet. Like, I'd side this card in if I was versing decks like maybe Hatchiap, or maybe even a green deck. So, so for those that don't know what it does, because a lot of people don't, because it's from set 13. It's a 30k double striker. Once per turn, add 1 card from your life to your hand. When your opponent activates a counter attack skill on an extra card, negate that skill. This card can be activated at counter timing. So it's a sparking, take a life, negate your counter attack. So negate your D magics, negate your dormant potentials, just any extra card that says counter attack on it, negate. It's got activate main. If you have 15 or more black cards in your warp, you play it from your hand, which is very easy to do. And activate main once per turn. If your life is a 1, it's just card to active mode. So it's a 30k dual attack double strike that can negate a counter.
Yeah, because the ideal play would be to be at 2 life, swing, they negate, you counter it, they somehow survive that, you restand it, you go again.
Yeah. So it's this card's ridiculous. It hasn't come up yet, but I like that it's there, and I love the card, and I think it will always stay in my side deck.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate that it does cost 4 energy though. That's what hurts it.
All it needs is a way to cheat it out. Which we might get. We're seeing a lot more Xeno support coming out now, so cheeky
crossed.
cheeky TP card here or there. Might be able to play it for 2 or 3. Playing it for 2 energy would be real good. So, and then I guess onto Z deck.
Yep.
So, all right. Some pretty stock standard. 2 Margin Boo. This card's just way too good. like, I think it should. I know it requires a black leader, but I honestly think it should require a black energy as well. As
Yeah,
this is too generic. Um, it's yeah, it's like tap one, get rid of one Z energy, play yourself a 5k blocker, get rid of another Z energy, suck up any of their battle cards unless it's got barrier, and then it's a one energy with 25k till the end of your opponent's turn.
yeah. And the fact that it doesn't have an energy restriction is really, really good as well because it can hit anything. As long
Yeah,
as it doesn't have barrier like secret rares, all that sort of stuff,
yeah,
tokens to close out your game, all stuff like that. It's just it is a good card.
yeah. It's like the amount of times I use it to actually clear secret rares. Like I think during the regional event, I actually used it to clear out a Pickle Gohan secret rare. Like they played it during my turn. I'm like, oh, tap one, play Boo, get rid of it, swing with Boo. Like, yeah,
Yeah. And the fact that it's a blocker as well, like you remove a card, a threat like the SCR, and then you can just block with it, and it's
yeah.
done way more than it needed to.
And it's a big blocker. Like 25k to the end of your opponent's turn. I don't get that. It should be to the end of your turn.
Yeah. And
Like,
then if it does survive, you can just activate main again and eat another card.
oh yeah, yeah. It's like I had this guy survive for like 3 turns in one of my games. It's like because they'd attack with leader. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll block with Boo, but because it's early game, they're not comboing in to get rid of my Boo. Like,
Yep.
yeah, he's just gonna chill. Alright. After that, two Pan. Pan's really good. She's got a activate main. If you have 3 or more Xeno battle cards in play, includes herself, so you just need 2 others. You can warp a battle card. So
Yeah, so free
it's
removal.
15k, just an alternate spot removal. But it's like if you've already played a Boo or you run out of Boos, just play a Pan. So um, yeah, I
Ever
didn't play her at all, but yeah, it's nice having her.
did you ever think of just running 4 boos and no pants?
I mean, I would consider maybe 3 Boo and 1 Pan, because Boo's effect to remove is limit 1. So
Mm-hmm.
if they've got multiple cards that I want gone, it'd be nice to not be
Yeah.
tied down. Like, it's good to have variety. Um, yeah, so it's also getting 4 Boos. Like, I've only got 2, so
Yeah, I suppose that was probably the rarest card to come out of the dash packs.
yeah, it's not even that. The store I go to whenever I go to Adelaide actually didn't receive any dash packs.
Oh, rip.
Yeah, it's like they have 2 tournaments a week with like 10 to 15 players and they don't receive any dash packs. Like we were fuming. Like
Yeah.
that's a buy all mine online, so I was pretty sad about that. So but yeah, we can't help that. After that, got the Goku Z Battle card that came out of the anniversary box. Um, this card actually did win me my game against Android 21. So it's a critical for 2 energy and 1Z, a critical 15k, auto burst 3. When this card is played, bottom deck a card from your hand and add your Demagogue Unison from deck to hand.
Yeah, so good.
Being able to search that Unison is, yeah, real,
Yeah.
real nice.
Especially
Um,
like even if you're like mulligan, you're not too worried if you don't find it. Whereas like before, you wanted to really make sure it was in your hand. Otherwise, it sort of delays your start.
yeah. So, but yeah, and the fact that it bursts as well was really nice for black decks. Like, it was built for this deck. Literally was. I think your leader has to be
Yeah.
Ss4 Goku as well. So, yeah, so it was literally built for this. And then it's got another activate main, which is actually what won me the game. Activate main once per turn. For every 7 black battle cards in my warp, he gains 5k for the turn. So yeah, it's like it was the end of the game. The guy was at 2 life and he had no cards in hand. I'm like, okay, I'm a play the Goku. He's 25k crit attack. You're at 1. That went to your drop. Swing with Goku Zen as Ss4 Goku, and I'm like, oh, there we go. So
Yeah.
it's like being able to play, oh yeah, tap 2, 25k crit. like pretty nice.
Yeah.
Especially late game. So like being able to access it from the extra from the Z deck is really nice. So
And it is only one Z energy, so like normally you probably wouldn't want to charge too much Z energy in this deck if I'm not mistaken, just because you are doing a lot of overwhelms.
yeah, I think the most amount of cards I put into my Z energy is maybe 4 cards. And that's usually the time agents if I mill them. So because I don't care if they're in the drop, warp, wherever. Like if I mill a time agent or the Supreme Kai, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just combo that and put that into Z energy because it's fueling more resource for me.
Yeah.
So yeah. After that, we have one Cumber. So Cumber is a 2 energy, 1Z. Auto and it's 15k. Auto when it is played or when it attacks. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards that's 4 or less and give it Servant till the end of your opponent's turn. It didn't come up, but if I was versing a deck that liked to grind, tried to win long game, Umber would be my go-to because I can lock down battle cards. So just kind of stop them cracking back at me, and just another option. Then last Z battle card is actually one copy of Demigra. Didn't come up, but I had it. So
I find that it is a bit hard to get this card out. Mainly, I found it hard to get out because it was 3 Z energy.
yeah. So Demigra, yes, I do agree. 2 energy with 3Z is a bit difficult for this deck. It was more of a if I was versing a deck that was playing the Golden Cooler Secret Rare.
Okay.
Because that card puts all except for 5 cards in my hand into my Z. So I'm like, if I get floodgated that much that we hit the turn 5 and they do drop that on me, there's a good chance I'm going to have like 10 to 15 Z energy at that point.
Yep.
So I'm like, it'd be nice to have a card that can benefit off of that. And Demigra has a opponent where he actually gains 2k for every card in my Z energy.
Yeah, so nice little buff there.
Yeah, so like if I have 15 in my Z, I'm like, oh yeah, this Demigra is gaining 30k.
Yeah, and then it becomes a 45k.
Yeah,
45k swing.
Which also warts a battle card if you play a card with overall. Or play a card from your board. So
also draws a card if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it draws a card as well. So
yeah, so it can obviously if you have been cooled, you can refuel the hand that little bit more.
So and the thing with cooler was I would always almost have a petrification in hand for it. So I was like hard mulling for that card.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so, very, very good. Congratulations on your 9th place. Very, very unlucky not to have been 8th. Obviously, the tiebreakers weren't in your favour by, what was it, 0.04%. 0.04% on missing out on Serial Goku. I, for one, would be pretty pissed, but...
Yeah, I beat the guy that came 8th.
And that's the... Yeah. I don't know how they did the system, but yeah. Were a few unhappy people over the system on the weekend, but it is what it is, unfortunately. But any shout outs you want to give for the event?
Yeah, shout out to all the people that didn't play Ss4 Goku over the weekend. I hate that deck. 8-drop needs to be banned, etc., etc. Everyone should know how I feel about that card by now.
Yeah.
And yeah, just shout out to all the people on the Discord servers that let me do all my testing and yeah.
Yeah, so. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you sitting down doing the deck profile with me. Congratulations again. And if you guys haven't already, please do hit that like and subscribe button. We're trying to close in on 100 subs. Would be good to get there sometime soon. But thanks for joining me, Kye.
Yep. All right. Thank you for having me.
No worries. And we will catch you all soon.